Take a look at your mock draft. We'll take a look at rounds 3, 4, and 5, and yet have a trade in here. But Nick Herbig, you have the Browns taking at 74, edge rusher from Wisconsin. Then you have the Browns trading picks 98, 126, and 229 to Las Vegas for picks 100 and 109. And then you have the Browns taking Parker Washington with 100 and Tank Bigsby, running back from Auburn, at 109. So we've got Herbig, Parker Washington, Tank Bigsby as the first picks in round 3 and the first pick in round 4 as well. So take us through what you like with Herbig, Washington, and Bigsby.
With Herbig, I've talked about before, how I think, despite his limited size, he played 228 pounds in college, weighed 240 at the NFL Combine. I think he has the bend you're kind of looking for out at that edge in a 4-3 base. I talked before, talked before with regards to Herbig, how physically I think there's some similarities frame-wise to Hassan Reddick. We've seen, teams play him on the defensive line, even though he's only about 235 pounds, muster double-digit sacks. If Herbig can do that, that's a sensational job on his part. What hurts him, like I said before, he's a projection-based player. No one knows what his off-ball skills are in terms of being a linebacker and in terms of possibly moving down to the defensive front, how his body will hold up. But I think, in the Browns situation, he could be a really good fit as an edge rusher, and I don't think you can teach the pass rushing tools that he really has in his arsenal. And again, I talked before how the signing of Obo Okoronkwo, he's not a big guy, but it tells you that the Browns aren't necessarily might not be necessarily as concerned about size when it comes to defensive end. It's can you get off the line? Can you bend the edge? Can you just create havoc? And can you try and put that tackle on an island, as we've seen with Jim Schwartz in the Y9?
What do you like about Washington and Bigsby? Wide receiver, Parker Washington for Penn State, Tank Bigsby, running back from Auburn.
Well, with Parker Washington, I do have to give an assist to Lance Rison, our film expert, on that one. He's kind of talked me into him a little more the last week or two. Washington's an interesting guy. Obviously, Penn State, has put some good receivers out in the NFL. Washington's a more unique receiver. I don't know if he's ever going to necessarily beat anybody with long speed, which is why he on paper doesn't seem like the best fit. But what I think he is elusive, and he's got good size for the slot. He's 200 plus pounds, so put him in the slot, and I think he can recreate some of what they lost when Kareem Hunt was obviously playing in the slot, and I think you can recreate some of that with Washington. His ability to make guys miss is very good. I think he's got more size than some of the slot corners he'll probably face in the NFL, and his body control is simply outstanding. If you watch what he did against Ohio State, he put on a clinic with, just diving catches, just pulling the football down. He was sensational in that game. So, again, I've talked before, maybe the Browns look for speed there. I kind of went away with that, but I think, Washington and his elusiveness and his ability to make guys miss kind of makes up for that in a way. And with 109, Tank Bigsby, I thought it was time to go for, another running back, kind of continue to add depth at that running back position. Bigsby's, a powerful guy, obviously played in the SEC. He's got experience playing against, big physical linemen. What I think helps him in a weird way is the fact that his offensive line was not very good. I mean, Auburn had a lot of issues the last couple of seasons with Brian Harzin as the head coach, the drama that kind of happened there. And in spite of all of that, Tank Bigsby played pretty well. And he's a Georgia guy. He's a guy from Georgia, just like Nick Chubb. I believe they're both Atlanta area guys. So there's a fun little connection there. Bigsby's got an ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, which I've said before is something I think the Browns need to add to that running back core. Nick Chubb's not necessarily the greatest receiver. We don't know what kind of pass catcher Jerome Ford is. So adding a guy who's proven he can do that is a smart way to go.
All right, before we go real quick, you have the Browns trading 111 and a 2024 7th-round pick to the Giants. They go back to 128, and they pick up a 2024 4th-round pick. With that 4th-round pick later in the 4th round, you have them taking Ivan Pace, linebacker from Cincinnati. 5th round, you have them taking Allen Davis, a tight end from Clemson. Tell us what you like about Ivan Pace. We got about 45 seconds.
Ivan Pace, smaller linebacker, but great instincts, plays downhill very well. The size is what's going to drop him in the draft. I think everything else about his game is really good. And Davis Allen, Browns could be looking for a backup tight end. Seems like a popular pick among some people when it comes to the Browns. Guy who's quick off the line, may not have great long speed, but what he is, he's athletic, he can jump, he's got good hands, and he can kind of win off the line of scrimmage. If he can ever gain, a second or third gear down the road, I don't know if he really can, but if he can get any better at that, I think this would be a nice pick for Andrew Berry to add some depth behind David Njoku.